The Mastering Local Marketing podcast helps local small business owners like you understand what it takes to successfully market your business and drive new customers through your doors. We provide actionable insights, interview leading experts and business owners in various industries, as well as provide tips and tricks we've uncovered over the last 25 years in the field. Whether you're starting your business or you've been at it for decades, let us provide you with the education and resources you need to grow your customer base. It's time to start mastering your local marketing. Here's your host, Matt Hansen.
So you got a little Batman in there.
You know, I got to tell you, you look pretty casual, dude.
That's what I want, man.
You want to be casual for 3 sessions of podcasts? You want to be casual?
I got to be casual. That's who I am.
Are we going right now? All right. He's the casual Matt Hansen, PNW professor at large, and has his own business and pretty much known around the Midwest as a classic digital marketer. I'm honored to be on the podcast with you sometimes.
Sometimes? All right. Well, that's good. At least we got one.
How was that for a slight dig? We had a nice conference this week for founders and for venture capitalists and for investors. Pretty good stuff. And you got to tell them your story.
I did. I mean, it's fun because a lot of what we do at the university, we get to talk with startups, we get to talk with existing businesses, we do this. There's a variety of things that we're touching on, and we hear all these different stories. And again, we're talking with these founders of these different companies that are coming up through the ranks. And I had a couple of them pitch me afterward, after everyone had left, and we were talking about different markets and how they can, do different targeting and all this other stuff. And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter if you're a startup or you're an existing business that's been around for years. You have the same problems.
They're exactly the same.
They're exactly the same. So we're still having those conversations. Even new entrepreneurs that are coming in are still having the same problems that we've discussed on this podcast for countless episodes. So
it's kind of odd to see these, newer entrepreneurs that were coming, and there was a lot of them, and they were kind of telling their stories, and I was listening to that also, and pretty much the fundamentals of marketing that we talk about, and the 3 fundamentals, just to refresh, is that it's a sales funnel or marketing funnel. Top is awareness, middle is consideration, and then the bottom of the funnel is close or client or whatever you want to put it. They need to apply some of that to their pitch.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I know you were helping people with their pitch, but the pitch is just marketing.
Yeah, that's all it is. I mean, you just got to outline what you're trying to do to individuals. And what I see in these types of pitches are they're so focused on fitting the mold of a traditional pitch. They forget that you're pitching to somebody, a real human being. So as I'm listening to the pitches, I'm starting to ask all of these questions in my head, and I'm looking for the answers as we go through it. And I'm just not necessarily seeing that, but, they'll get there and so forth.
So Michael Lewis, was it Bonfire of the Vanity? I think he's written like 25 books. He talks to people doing pitches, and he's like, hey, throw that out. Yeah. Throw the Airbnb model out, and then you have to have we did a pitch for state of Indiana. They had to have 13 different things. It was a 39-page pitch, and we lost our story totally. And the whole idea behind Lewis is tell your story, and he basically says, put your story up front, tell what you think, and then put the ending to your story, and then just fill it in. And if you do that, you find the beginning and the end. You will fill that story in. And I think that gets lost in so many of these pitches.
Yeah, many times I'll go into a presentation, a pitch, and I'll just scrap everything that I had prepared because you start to read the room, right? And individuals will give you tells of where they want to go. They'll start asking questions, and you'll realize that those questions aren't necessarily answered in whatever presentation that you're doing.
We got a lot to get to today. Matt Hansen puts these together. I'm Jim Deedlow Jed. I own Jed TV and some radio stations and that kind of stuff. So I basically sell marketing, and Matt Hansen basically consults and teaches marketing. So hopefully you're picking up something that you can use. One of the things that we do here, Matt, is that we have this this sports streaming network that's as advanced as any smaller market streaming, and that is that we made a commitment to say, hey, they keep making the technology cheaper and cheaper. Let's just apply it at the local level. Adriana, who's producing with us, she's a student running our podcast network, ostensibly by applying the technology that is available, bringing it into the market. That biggest technology right now is AI.
Right. AI is everywhere. And it's funny, I had a presentation, actually it was kind of a workshop yesterday with a client, and we were talking about AI, and I was showing them some new things, and you just saw their mouth kind of drop as to what we can do at this point. I know it's a sticky kind of topic that you're going to hear us talk about over and over, and a lot of people are afraid of it. A lot of people are excited about it. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about today is these AI influencers that are being produced everywhere. And you're probably asking, what is an AI influencer? And really, we're getting to a point in life where we are accepting AI content, and we don't really even care that it's AI content anymore. And I know that sounds weird because we're trying to make AI look like us. And there are plenty of things that you can do, and we've talked a little bit about that, and we'll talk about it a little bit more today. But AI content is so easy to create at this point that we can create our own AI influencers that can become our spokespeople, our mascots for the brand. And what we're seeing out there is people are launching these different influencer, micro-influencer, even regular huge influencers with millions and millions of followers, and they're creating stories behind it, right? So they're putting their product, maybe it's an apparel company. They're putting the apparel on these influencers and these videos that are being generated and these images that are being generated. But they're promoting causes. They're sharing news and all of this other stuff. So there's a million different ways that you can use this. But I wanted to kind of elevate it to the top today and really talk about it and say, there's an opportunity for you to create your own influencer out there through AI that is wearing your clothes, using your products, even reviewing your coffee that you're making, whatever it may be. But there's all of these different opportunities, and that's what I wanted to talk about today.
And I want to just reiterate this. A lot of people that listen to this, and more, by the way, we even got our own coffee cup, our own swag.
Thanks to my kids. We get
so
one of one.
More and more people are listening, and the ones that I talk to in our local community here of Northwest Indiana are mostly business owners. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of them kind of understand, the Katie Sanitos, the Gloria Morrises, they understand marketing. They've gone to school for marketing and are already into marketing. But there's a lot of business owners that just get tired. They get scared. Yeah. Marketing, where does that go? Your recent podcast with Brittany was unbelievable, and we'll talk about that later. But I don't want anybody to be afraid to say, God, I read all this bad stuff about AI. All you're doing is what we're doing here on a successful level is take the technology that they've made, and they've made it cheap, and they let it so that you can apply it to your own business. Right. Please do not be intimidated by the word AI influencer because there's a place for it. Tell us about Lil Michaela.
So Lil Michaela is basically an AI-generated Instagram account. I believe they're on TikTok as well. But the idea is this, that they're out there promoting different things. I know they have 2.4 million followers on Instagram, and it's a completely AI generated, and it even looks AI generated. So what we're saying is, this new consumer that is coming up, right? I'm 48. We'll call them the kids, right? They are completely comfortable with seeing content that is AI generated. Even if it's labeled AI generated, they're fine with that as long as it's providing a story, some value, right? All of those types of things. Even one of the pitches that I was listening to the other day was using AI to provide fashion advice, right? So could they create, a little Michaela or something out there that is showing clothes for a brand based on a model that has been generated through AI, and you can keep the consistency, right? So you're probably saying, well, if I put that out there and then I produce it, the next time I go to do it, it's going to be something different. No, there are many tools out there that you can train it and say, this is what I want my model to look like. This is what I want them to sound like. These are all the characteristics. Save it. And then every time you go back in there, you're providing, you're saying, okay, here's a new wardrobe collection. I would like to get 10 videos of this wardrobe on our model. You can do that, right? So there are all these really cool tools. And I know a lot of people are sitting at home going, that seems pretty intimidating. And it can be. I get it, right? We've gone, when we talk about AI, we do have to elevate the game a little bit. But there is an opportunity there. And once you learn it, it's literally clicking a button and it generates it for you, right? So as simple as AI has become, I get emails every morning based on little things that I put in there, right? One of them I get every morning is give me 10 ideas for a next podcast, right? And it sends it to me every single morning and I read through it, and it may generate an idea, it may not, right? But instead of me sitting down on Wednesday night and going, all right, what are we going to talk about? Every day of the week, it's on my mind. I can open it, I can click it, I can read it. But that's a simple side. But what I'm saying with this is from an influencer standpoint, if you're providing story value, Lil Michaela basically is promoting right now. I just saw
blood stems, right?
Donor, right?
Yeah, that's the big one now.
Yeah. So they're promoting that. The link on Instagram is driving people over to generate awareness for that. They've done collaborations with different brands, and so it's really kind of interesting because you don't have to deal with a person anymore. It's literally a couple clicks, throw this in there, and it's generating it. We've used some of the tools here. If you go back and you look on YouTube, I think it was episode 16 was completely generated with AI. So you'll see me, it looks like me, but I'm telling you it's not me because we generated it using one of the tools that we're talking about today.
You're good. If you go out, and I subscribe to some of these, Wall Street Journal and New York Times, every so often they have an article about, how AI is going to destroy the world. Okay, that's an issue. Talk about it. But really what's happening is that they're making it cheaper and cheaper to apply to your business. And we're able to get way more work, way less man hours. And I could go into it at length about how we're implementing it, but our own producer right here, Adriana, is using it to start the podcast network. We have 14 podcasts. This is just part of it. It's all AI-based. And so we have to come back to that. Do not be intimidated. There are some specific ways you can use this, okay? Mm-hmm. And one of the ways that I think will emerge very quickly, being widely accepted, it's not so much widely accepted now, is to get an explainer video about your product or service. Where do you see that headed?
It's already being used.
Yeah.
It's everywhere at this point. So you can create a model. You can create a model of yourself. Again, I've used different technology that has trained itself on me. I submit a video and it learns my patterns, my speech patterns. It learns the way I talk with my hands, as I'm doing right now. It learns all of these different things, and it will literally build these explainer videos. So you can say, here's a script. I mean, you can generate a script using AI if you wanted to, but you upload a script. It reads the script. It uses the AI video that you've trained it on, and it will create an explainer video right there without having to do literally any work other than giving it just the script. I've done it two ways, right? So, I'm not going to promote anything that I haven't done myself. So, one of them is to have it generate the script itself, right? You give it a whole bunch of documentation, it will generate a script. You'll tell it how many words, how long you want it, whatever it may be. On the flip side, you can actually record the audio. So you want it a little bit more authentic. That's fine. But then you can upload that audio and it'll pair it with the AI version of you or the model, and it will generate it that way. So, I did this again. We talk about Purdue and everything a lot, but I tell the story all the time about how when I sat down to watch the last Purdue game in the tournament this year, right, the last game that they lost.
It's the last game of the tournament.
Last game.
They lost in the last game of the tournament.
So I sat down and I was at home and I thought, well, I wonder if I could create a podcast by the time this game starts till it ends. So I developed the podcast cover, the two hosts. I created the two voices for the two hosts. I created literally all of the content. It gave me the full script of them going back and forth. I gave them an attitude, so they were giving kind of snarky responses to things. We uploaded it into one of the AI generators that we're talking about. It created the video and audio files. We had it up and launched before the end of the game. So we did the entire thing, and I laughed because I said, I wonder if anyone's going to actually listen to this. I woke up the next morning, it already had downloads.
It was a video and audio podcast?
Video and audio.
Oh, my gosh. So our own Adriana is what you're talking about. The next thing here is we've brought in AI to use breaking news, right, Adriana? And I think sometimes people are against it, but to some extent, I like it where it sounds AI so that they know it, that it's not too real. Does that make sense? And that's what we're doing right now.
We've had people go back and forth on it, and I think it's just a personal preference at that point, whether you enjoy the AI or that you don't. And I think those who do enjoy the AI have been the ones to kind of accept that AI is going to be the next best thing. And those who do not really like the AI, either they do accept it, but they want that real voice, they want that connection when it comes to the news, or they don't accept it.
I think we're doing this right now, and we don't have to have a traffic person or a weather person. Scrape, put it on. Scrape, put it on. We don't even have to change the system. So we're a 101-year-old radio station that is very shortly going to be all AI during the breaks between content. That is coming at us. We had really no choice but to implement the highest level of tools. You could say, oh, I'm just going to do it all old school, but your competitor's not doing it that way.
Yeah, well, again, you're a small business. Your biggest thing is time. We've talked about this a million different times, but time is valuable, and you need to figure out how you can have multiple employees. And AI allows us to get multiple employees that can do a variety of things. So again, going back to the topic today, the idea is to get somebody out there talking about your brand, your products, your services, all of these different things. And AI can do it for you with literally just a couple clicks of the button. And, you know, the one tool that I used for episode 16 on YouTube was HeyGen. So it's HEYGEN. So if you want to go out there and check it out, HeyGen will literally... The idea is this, that you can use one of their AI models to do whatever you want to do. That's fine. Or you can record yourself in 2 to 5 minutes. And basically what you do is just say a few lines of anything, right? So I was laughing when I was doing it. I started, I don't really know what to say. Then you got to pause and then maybe I'll come up with something creative. And it was funny, I was just saying these stupid little lines as we're going through it, and it learns the mannerisms and the voice and all this other stuff. And I didn't do a great job because I only did it for 2 minutes. I was just testing it, and I couldn't believe what it spit out on the other side. And I thought, okay, how are people using this? And you talk about news. Right now, and kind of where we are in the world, news is breaking constantly. And what people are using is they're using things like HeyGen and these AI developments to scrape the web, put in the content into something as simple as ChatGPT, say create a 1,500-word breaking news on this. They take that content, they upload it into HeyGen. HeyGen spits out a video. It's a breaking news. It's uploaded to YouTube as a short or as a typical video. They're putting it on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. And they're breaking news as it's happening, but people are sitting there going, how did they turn that around so fast? And that's what we're doing here. So, you know, you've got a lot of people, you know, we talk about interns a lot and high school students that know how to do this. Find somebody and just churn content as fast as you possibly can and let the AI do the heavy lifting. You don't need to go out there and hire a camera crew anymore.
As a matter of fact, that is a very difficult topic because much of what you're talking about erases a lot of the skills that have been taught and acquired by people that are single skilled or double skilled, whereas the AI will take care of anything rote or it will take anything repetitive. And now you have an entirely different type of person that you need. You need someone that can manage the whole system in the AI, but that's a different story altogether. I want to talk specifically, let's just pick one that you could also use it for. How about like a tutorial or an FAQ about your product?
Yeah, let's go to the FAQs, right? So I had this conversation just yesterday with a client, and I said, people come over to your website, they look at things, and they're going to have questions. And we don't like to read anymore. I'm sorry, but nobody likes to read. It's probably why podcasts have taken off so much, and YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and all the video formats. Nobody likes to read. So can you create kind of these FAQs on your website that answer these questions, where it's literally you answering the questions, but it's AI you, right? And you just put, here are all the questions that come in. Help me answer these. It generates the responses. You approve those responses. You upload it into these systems. It creates all of these video snippets that answer all these questions. It looks a little bit more personal that you took the time, quote unquote, to actually create video of it when AI is actually creating the video for it. So again, we're speeding up the process because time is so valuable. And marketers at this point, the things that we used to spend time on are no longer where we're spending the time. We're planning, we're strategizing, we're figuring out how to use these tools to speed things up and to work with a much smaller team, but we're moving so much faster. And I'm going to tell you right now, every single day of my life, somebody asks me, how in the world do you do all the things you do? It is asked to me every single day of my life. It was asked to me 3 times in the last 2 days in different meetings. And I keep telling them I'm utilizing the technology that's out there to move faster than everybody else, right? If you accept these technologies and you want to use them, you can speed it up. You can literally outperform your competitors.
Let's call it right there. He's Matt Hansen. I'm Jim Deedlow, Jed. Until next time, we'll see you later.